Okay, and we're back. There we go. As you can see, they are now identical on either side. And because this is an odd number on this side as well, once we place our source here, it will travel to both. Now what we need to do is mark off both of these points of entry. So as you can see, this is the middle where we're going to place our water. So this is where we want our single source to fall. So mark it off again, just like that. Yep, and then what we're going to do is join these. So we're going to go ahead and just make this one solid 3x3 wall. There we go. And now build this one block higher around here, so that, whoop, you let it happen. Yep. There we go. Build this around. Okay, so now we have our new center, which is going to be right here. Once we place our water here, we have only used one source block, however, it will now do everything that we needed it to do. This helps so that we're not just using 4 different sets of water, we are only using one source block. And this will help for our button later. As you can see that from the preview, when we made that lever, it simply uses a sticky piston to release and close a water gate. And that is a lot easier if you're only using one source. So once that you've built this, leave the water in there so that you can see what you're doing, and you can now start to pretty this all up. The point of leaving the water in there is so that you don't accidentally hit, like close off any of the water sources. So if you accidentally like close off, say, this bit, because you think this is an area that you need to pretty up, it will then cut off this source. However, you can't accidentally do that if you remember to leave the water going. So make sure you do that. Then go ahead and pretty this all up. I'll just quickly do this. You don't have to pretty it up if you don't want it pretty, but you know, a lot of Minecraft is about being pretty and everyone wants prettiness these days. Okay, so like we did before, wall off our source block so that we can mark where we want it to be. You can again then just, you know, make this all covered up in stones so that it looks pretty. Yep, and now that we have this, we have our point of entry for where our water was going to be. This is where our sticky contraption is going to start. It's going to start from behind the farm. Our next step is going to be making these farms longer, as well as our hydration sources. So let's move on to that. Hello, sheep. Right, so we're back, and for the next part, what we're going to want to do is figure out how far the water goes, and once we know how far our minimum water level distance is, that is when we can start to make our next lot of fields. So what you want to do is put the water in, look at how far it goes, then you're going to want to pick up your water, travel down here, find your minimum distance, which is going to be this block. This is the shortest distance that it travels. And then this is going to be the start of our next field. So just go ahead and dig this all out. I'll fast forward this for you. Okay, now that we've done that, what we're going to want to do is extend our trenches, our hydration trenches. So in order to do that, I'm just going to remove this. You're going to want to build a digger trench, because as we know, if you build a bigger trench, then our water is going to travel further. Okay, this is exactly what we wanted. Right, so in order to pretty this up, so as you know, what we're going to want to do here is continue to do this. However, if you just leave it like that, even with like this, once your water comes down, because this is an open extra water source, it's going to interfere. Basically, they're going to cross over, and that is not what you want. But you can't simply block it off like this, because if you do, the water flow will just stop. So what you need to do is actually cut back one block earlier, just like that. Then and only then can you cut it off like that. There we go. And that looks a little bit pretty. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward again. We're going to do the same on this side. Okay, and we are back. Now that we've extended our hydration trenches, the next step that we're going to want to do is come up the top, and just as before, place our water source down, wait for the water to run, which it has, pick up your water source, and then find the next area of our minimum water distance. As you can see, it's also gone completely even now. This is exactly what you want. If yours isn't even, I suggest that you go look at what's happened here somewhere, because if you've got say blocks like that missing, then it's not going to end even on your second run through, and yeah, that's not what you want. So make sure that everything's level here. If everything is level there, then all the water will end level here. Okay, so once we've found our minimum water distance traveling, we can now dig this out, and this is going to be our next trench. I'll do that side later. Okay, so from here out, as you can see, this water trench doesn't reach as far as our first one did. So basically, a hydration trench is only good for 2 fields. For every 2 fields, you must then start a new hydration field. So we'll just wall that off. And we're going to start a new one. Just like that. Okay. And actually, you might get rid of that because that looks much prettier. Awesome. Okay. Place your water in here just as you did before, and then continue to come back out just like that. Do the same here. So dig out your next trench, end this. Oh, actually we're going to make it a little bit more pretty. We're going to use these. End this out. Yep, awesome. Place in your new block of water. Alright, and that is our next hydration trench started. Now, when we place in our water now, as you can see, it will now travel across all 3 farming areas, and it will end evenly down the end here. See that? Perfectly level. That is exactly what we want. For this tutorial, we're only going to make it 3 long. As you can probably tell, you can continue this on, and you can make this, say, another 3 blocks wide. You could make it another 6 lengths wide, sorry. Hell, you could make it another 27 lengths wide. You can have as many farms as you want using this method. That's why this method is so great. But for now, we're just going to make this the end of our farm. So when you're making your end, unlike on our previous ones, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to end our dirt blocks here. Instead of at our minimum level, our minimum water level reach, we're going to end it one past that, just like this. That way, when you throw items such as dirt, wood, or in our case soon wheat, it will simply fall off the edge. Oop, I didn't show that very well. They'll simply fall off the edge, which is basically what I want. This is what's going to happen to our wheat. Our wheat's going to travel down like this, and it's going to drop. Now, in this area here, what we're going to want to make are trays. So, in order to make your tray, we're going to wall this area off, just like this. Just like that. and we're going to place another source block here. Now for this you can either wall it off, it doesn't really matter, or just simply go ahead and place it down. Now what this is going to do is create this. The same is going to happen on this side. We'll do that in a second. And once we've done that, dig this out and this out. Now when we chuck our dirt or wood, or in a later case wheat, it will fall off our farms into our tray, and everything that falls into the tray will then be pushed out into our collection point, which is going to be this block just here. That is exactly how we want it to work. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mirror up this side so that they look exactly the same, and I'll be right back.